Best-selling author Gianni Kovacevic is back with us on Kitco News. Welcome back, Gianni.
Great to be here in Vancouver.
And yes, in beautiful Vancouver. We have so much to talk about today. I want to start with your precious copper, which you've been very bullish on the past few times, but it's having a bit of a hard ride here these days. So,
well, is it or is it not? It would make sense that if the consensus still is that copper is the PhD of the economy. So if all the saber rattling and trade war and is this going to put a hiccup to the global economy, it would make sense that people would, speculate to the negative.
So let's take a step back to that question. Do you think the global economy will be spinning in a tailspin anytime soon?
No, I don't.
Okay.
We've already seen this, the way they back out of these decisions. We're talking about the administration in the United States, and global growth right now is 3.5%. I don't see a scenario, anything's possible, but it doesn't keep me awake at night that the global growth is going to go to negative or 1%.
Okay, do you foresee a market crash? As a lot of analysts come on the show foreseeing, equities to crash here.
It's went up for 7-8 years. It's come off a little bit, and now there's volatility in the market again. So could the market go down by 1,000, 2,000 points? Yeah, that's possible. And that would also be negative to the short term to the PhD of the economy. Okay. But it's the longer decoupling. If you look at a 2 or 3 year correlation using the dominant commodity oil, and then let's superimpose aluminum and copper to that, identical, no decoupling. But if you go back to 2000 or 1995, there is a dramatic decoupling. Copper and aluminum identical. Oil has now come up as well, but if you go back to 2000, today's copper price of $305, $310 is like oil being $100 a barrel. There has been a decoupling already.
You've also said in the past that copper tends to follow palladium prices.
They were coupled as well, because palladium was the strongest moving commodity at the time, and everyone was talking about that. It had a 60% move. Copper had the same move.
There's a reason I'm asking this question is I was at an electrical car conference not too long ago, and people are saying, especially for those working in the PGMs, platinum, palladium, rhodium, brace yourselves because these metals might be obsolete one day. So what would that mean for copper?
Copper wins. When you electrify a car, there's no longer a tailpipe. So that means you're not using, if it's diesel or gasoline, it's going to be palladium or platinum, depending on the one, but you have 3 or 4x more copper in that car. You also have the point where these cars start to get recycled, there's more metal coming in.
So how do you invest in copper? For people watching, wanting to get into the space, what's your play?
I love the optionality. My friend Frank Holmes has been telling people you want the optionality. Okay. And if you want optionality, what you're looking for is what we do at CopperBank. We buy projects that have had a lot of money spent on them, that are in safe jurisdictions, that have the plausibility to go into production in a normalized copper price environment. The optionality that our projects have, one such project, every 10 cents that the copper price goes higher now is about $25 million to the NPV of the project. We like that. So we've just recently announced a new partner to CopperBank, Mr. Giulio Bonifacio. He was with Nevada Copper, and he's going to be working it forward with me.
I know you've been a huge proponent of Tesla. You wrote a book centered around the car. You did a whole tour across the country in your Tesla. Elon Musk has been making headlines, especially the way he handled that shareholder call. What are your thoughts on what you've been seeing from this company? Do you see positive prospects for Tesla here or no?
People still don't appreciate or understand the gravity of what that company has created. It's not a car company, it's an integrated technology and energy company. And if you don't understand the trifecta, the battery, the car, and the way to create electricity to charge that car for structures around the world, I'm talking about solar panels or a solar roof, and if you look at the long-term potential of that, they always look at the car company, and it's not just that.
So would you be a buyer of the stock here?
I haven't bought Tesla stock. I'm not going to buy Tesla stock. But it's the actual application. Most people that knock this company, I don't think they've tried the product in the long run, and they always consider the Tesla Model S is expensive. Well, it competes with the BMW 5 or the Audi.
I'm just surprised you wouldn't be buying the stock.
It's volatile.
Right. So you'd rather buy the car.
I love the technology. I like to enjoy it. But as far as owning the shares, that's for a different type of investor.
Okay. Speaking about volatility, Gianni, if I had to ask you, precious metals, cannabis stocks, which is a popular topic at this conference too, or the crypto space, what has the biggest growth potential for you right now?
Well, the true precious metal is copper. So if you were to tell me I want to invest in the future. I have a long-term horizon as well. So if people could picture in the theater of their mind a 2 to 5 year horizon, let's go with what Shell Corporation is telling us. Ben Van Beurden, who runs the company, they came out with their latest scenarios, and they tell us that today 80% of the energy mix is fossil fuels, 20% is electricity. But in the future, it all ends up as electricity. The current 20%, it took 120 years to get there. We're going to accelerate. The balance is going to happen the next 50, 60, 70 years. Argue what you will. What's going to make that possible? It's not gold. It's not gold.
It's copper for you. Were you always a believer in copper since day one? When did you start getting into it?
It's like musical chairs, yes. So for 20 years I followed copper, but if there's no supply and demand balance, indifference if you will, you can never have a premium on that commodity, that product. I don't care if it's hogs or if it's logs. The CAGR growth rate for copper demand, I'm speaking, is going to be 4.5%, 5%. Backfilling, guess who did the keynote at the International Copper Study Group's annual meeting in April? Myself. And when you look at the statistics and the forecasting, we're going into a 3-year vacuum where no new major mines are coming online. I'm talking mines that are greater than 100,000 tons of metal yield. This is 19, 20, 21. Nothing, not one.
Do you like lithium or cobalt?
I like electric metals in general, but it's the tens of thousands of people working on the chemistries in these batteries. We saw Tesla say that they've reduced the amount of cobalt in their batteries because of scarcity. What will happen in the future? I don't know, because there's too many people working in the technology, in the innovation, but the salad bowl, always be relevant.
Gianni, you have been talking copper for so long. I could definitely say, if I had to play word association, someone says copper, I say Gianni.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you for watching. We'll have much more for you on Kitco.com. Thanks, Gianni.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks.